IndiGlobal Media Network.
The theme of this discussion being New Age Innovations and Best Practices Redefining Schooling. For this, I would like to call upon our panelists on stage. I'll begin with calling Ms. Deepika Rao, Principal. Can we have a huge round of applause for all our panelists here, please?
Processes and pedagogy. Good afternoon and welcome to the post-lunch panel discussion. I hope everybody had good lunch. So keep up the energy levels high. So we'll try to finish it off as soon as possible. So it's a pleasure for me to be a part of this very interesting panelists here, because when I was talking to them, I found each one of them very passionate about the work, what they are doing. So it was really inspiring me also. And innovation, in simpler terms, is usage of ideas or methods which have never been used. So to set the context, I would like to talk about how innovation has played a significant role in the work I do. So I teach English to the underprivileged students through a program called English Strokes, which is actually a collaboration between British Council and AA EduTech Private Limited. Now, this program helps a person to improve their reading, writing, and speaking skills. So I've been doing this program for past 5 years. And through the innovative part of this program is that one can learn English through the medium of cricket. It's through cricket. And I'm sure everybody agrees with me when I say in India, cricket is nothing short of a religion. So as a matter of fact, the students stay connected and they feel interested in learning more and more aspects of English subject. And as I said earlier, I've been doing this for past 5 years, and I must say, I have seen tremendous improvement in the confidence levels of the students in the English speaking skills. So I'm very glad to say that innovation in one way definitely helps in shaping up the students' learning capacity. So moving on, I would like to start up this panel discussion by asking the first question to Deepika ji. So the first question for you would be, what areas in education do you think needs innovation?
So good afternoon, everyone. And when you hear this question, the first thing that comes to mind is all the tools and technology that has kind of become open and accessible to many of us. But I would say that that's just one aspect of innovation, because as you rightly said, innovation is just any idea or thought that comes to your mind. So what areas that need to be innovated? The first thing that I would say is the mindsets. We speak about very often about paradigm shifts. And paradigm shift is a word that we've often used, but it's rarely interpreted and really actually made actionable on ground. So what is a paradigm shift that you are hoping to create? So what does it require? And I will just talk about a few things that, according to me, I have also put them into practice, and I feel that has resulted in innovation. The first thing is for changing mindsets is building up a culture of agency and empowerment. That's the first thing. I mean, these two words are not the same, they are different. Agency is when you are responsible and accountable. Agency is something that you take up on yourself. It's very intrinsic. Empowerment sometimes can be intrinsic, and usually in organizations can be external too. So an external opportunity to become empowered in an organization, and how the leadership recognizes the need for it, is very, very important. That's the first step towards innovation, because it has to flow from top down and then be able to percolate right down to the lowest level in the school. When I talk of this, I also think of things like tech support. What do we mean by tech support? Are we talking about just bringing in things like Scratch and coding, and then we have the Legos, etc., and we want to create a STEAM lab? Is that the tech we are going to see? Or we are going to see how tech can become an assistive tool to learning? So which are the areas where tech is going to become assistive? It's not going to become something that becomes an add-on. It's not an add-on. It has to become a very integral and assistive part of the teaching learning process. And when I look at the teaching learning process, I think that requires innovation too, for the simple reason that teachers are belonging to a generation where they did not grow with technology, and the students have. So I think a flat classroom, which is more collaborative in nature, sometimes teachers as students and some students as teachers, is also a great thing. I can give a live example. I've never quit teaching. I love teaching. I teach mathematics, physics, and TOK to the IB diploma students. So when I teach mathematics higher level, there is a assistive technology tool that we use called a graphical calculator. And a graphical calculator is not like anything simple. It's a very complex piece of equipment. And obviously, when you hand it to a student, within 2 weeks, they've mastered it. And we are still struggling. So when I start going to my classes, and each year I feel that the students are becoming better at it. So when I walk into a classroom, my first thing is, I will never use this piece of equipment as much as you are going to use it, and you're going to be better at it than me. So you teach me as we go along. And I know the concepts. So I offer you the concepts, and you offer me the technology, and how to kind of integrate and make it come together. So some lessons I teach, and some lessons I give them an opportunity to teach tech. And I think that's what an assistive technology is all about. Now, here is also an innovation lying there. The innovation here lies in accepting that all of us we do have needs for capacity building. And I have no shame in saying that, yeah, I'm not perfect in everything. So there's an immense amount of opportunity for me to build capacity. So that's one of the important things about innovation cultures. The second thing is, like we spoke about, identifying a problem and saying, yes, herein there is an opportunity for innovation. I'm often always kind of learning from students and my own life experiences. So I would say that when we say that identifying a problem, there are a couple of things that come into it. One is the culture of being still, which we don't have. The culture and the liberty of observing. How do you identify a problem if your mind is not still and you are not observing anything? So the previous session where we had mindfulness, and I'm sure at the end of that 1 minute, we all felt more peaceful and more aligned to our breathing and what was happening in our bodies. So this is us not getting connected with who we are. And here we are expecting students to create innovative solutions or innovative prototypes or innovative objects or products. So for innovation to happen, I think the ability of an educator to provide a space to observe, the calmness to connect with your thoughts, and a lot of organic solution finding needs to be given. Wherein comes the role of the curriculum, that of course we are guided by the curriculums. But you see, curriculums are not meant to define what you can do. Curriculums are meant to be guidelines. So I think it's important to look inward into the curriculum and innovate it to a point where we say, the knowledge is today available at the click. What is not available to you is the skill. So more importantly, the curriculum should be, the core of the curriculum should now become the skill, and the knowledge should become something which is an ancillary. It's kind of surrounding it. If I want to acquire that skill, what sort of knowledge do I need? What we've been doing so far is, this is the knowledge. Now what kind of skill you need to have? Let's work backwards. Let's say, okay, I want to be able to create this product. What kind of skill do I have? And this word of projects also I want to talk a little bit about. Yes, we all create projects in schools, but we create a project and we give it to them. I would say let's practice agency here. Give them a chance to choose what would they like to work on and what would they like to create, and make it as a personal learning pathway for them. So a live example is a student wanted, or I mean, I've handled such students. So a student wanted to be able to create a pair of stilettos, very high heels, from garbage. She actually did an apprenticeship with a cobbler for 6 months to actually learn to do it at her own personal time. And her eventual idea was that she's going to open a shoe unit. She wanted to be a shoe designer, which she eventually became. Now, these are examples not just of saying that we do this in the classroom, we do this in the classroom. No, we create a structure where people, A, are empowered, B, they practice agency, C, they require that skills are more important than just basic knowledge, which can be taken from various sources. D, we will need to collaborate with a lot of people. That's where we need to be. And E, empathy and compassion. And this is a Harvard research that the first prosthetic that was produced because somebody was not able to walk, and a bunch of students observed, and they said that this student is not able to walk, not able to play with us, not able to enjoy life. And from there, the first prosthetic limb was born. So if you do not have empathy and compassion, you cannot identify a problem. And from there on, to move into action requires collaboration. It does require creative thinking. It requires spaces where you can be allowed to think organically. So if you put together, the experience of action is made up of all these things. So that is where I feel that the whole schooling experience can undergo a sea of innovation just to make them into happy and supported places where students are allowed to take risks, and more than that, they are allowed to fail. Failure should be acceptable, because only when you fail can you reflect inward and say why I failed and realign yourself to succeed later. So those opportunities are one of the most important innovation that we need to have. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Deepika. Very valid points you have shared. My next question would be to Ms. Lydia. As you all know that the topic for this panel discussion is new age innovations and best practices in redefining schooling. So my next question would be on best practice. So I would like to know, or I think everybody would like to know, what are the best practices which you implement in your institution?
Thank you, ma'am. I think, first of all, I should thank IndiGlobal for giving this platform where we all like-minded people came together today. And I think from the beginning of the session, I was hearing happiness, health, and these were something like reflecting well-being. And today I would like to just bring across to you something which we are actually implementing. Because I could give you examples, I could tell you this is working out so that it will be a takeaway. And I think I've learned a lot from the sessions right now. I also have many takeaways. So coming to this, I think recent mentors spoke about healthy teachers, happy teachers, and about teachers are managers. I think I just categorize the whole thing as let's have a happy community, because when I was hearing this word happy and healthy, our school's vision itself is creating a happy community. So that was something like I said, wow, we are already in for having a vision right now. So how do we create happy community, where happy community means happy teachers, happy parents, happy students, and overall together we create that happiness in everyday scenario. It's not one day we call for a party and say we are happy today. And how do we do that? Now, starting with teacher empowerment, pillars of the classroom. I heard Chandrasekhar saying it's just not the best infrastructure that you provide, but what happens in the classroom matters, right? So what do we do? But also qualitative. How qualitatively we are measuring the outcomes of teachers. So have structured teachers of old generation and the new generation. How do you have a mix and match? I think mix and match is the best. Then you'll get sambar out of it. So it is like that. So I felt like when you have a mix of match, you can have team teaching, peer learning much better. So in the timetable, if we could have at least 4 times in a year, a teacher gets an opportunity to observe another teacher. And now, as the principal of a school, we are supposed to have class observations, and the downline of our coordinators do have to observe classes and come back with feedback and feed forward. How it is happening, monitoring is very, very important. So structurally, if you help them to have their own voice, choice, and ownership, even for the teachers, that is the time I think they agree upon it. Essential agreements of taking PDs also should be done through teachers. So that's one thing. So we agreed upon 50 hours of training, where this one thing we just started this year. Maybe it will be an advice if it can work out. So we had team leaders. In those team leaders started tracking if it is an IB curriculum. Normally teachers get into the classroom, they observe from others, or they take PD sessions. We have in-school workshops, regional workshops. They learn and implement. But why not on a daily basis, they start learning? How do you measure that? So we had team leaders who will take care of 4 teachers together. So it is practically how to empower everyone to ensure the others are also empowered. So these 4 teachers have, this week, page number 1 to 4, they will read. So reading assignment is given. Second, we also have one module, one PD module they'll have to do. And IB, you have My IB, or CBSE, you have the platforms. Let me tell you, as a principal and as a teacher when I was, getting to those platforms is very difficult because we forget in a day-to-day, because we are managers, teachers as managers, we don't have time for it, we skip. And someday we are put into a room, then we have the PDs, we listen, we are empowered. After a few days, we lose the enthusiasm. So for that, if you have regular checks, regular appreciation, regular reflections, I think it would definitely work out. This year we started and we've seen there was a difference in the first week itself. Now coming to another one is having open door policy, teacher empowerment, again I'm talking about. Many teachers, let me tell you, I started my career as a teacher. Thank God, I think I had very good leaders who identified that there is some talent in me. So today I'm sitting in front of you to speak. And I think every teacher also has that uniqueness. Do we have that bandwidth to identify and empower that single talent that teacher has, as similar as a student? So if we do that, I think they start having and growing with that passion, and that is how you can sustain. Retention of a teacher is the growth of the school also. So I think that is how you can check on involving teachers and ensuring that there is a lot of peer learning and appreciation, identification, and also recognition matters a lot. Feedback and feed forward. Now we have understood about class observation. Again, measurable. I'll do class observations, fine, but how many? So as a principal, twice in a year, if I have 90 teachers, twice in a year means 180 observations I need to do. As a coordinator, if you have a segment of 15 teachers, at least minimum of 5 class observations you need to do. And giving feedback again matters. If you do not give feedback, taking a class observation does not make sense. Now, coming to parent empowerment. I think morning sir was telling, parents don't listen. I think it was really the same case when, we have a POP, we have a PTM. We do not have parents who turn up also. Because especially in the secondary school, you will have very less attendance, and this happens with every school. So we started something like virtual meetings. And taking an data from teachers, identifying which students is weaker. As a principal, I wanted those parents to come and meet me one-on-one. So having a data of what the child is good at, I said it is better to have one-on-one with them. Next, taking a parent survey where their points are just not heard, but also in the next year, tell them, we heard you because we're a listening school. These are the 10 points you told us. For 10 points, there's an action plan. So then I think the belief system for the parents also enhanced, because ultimately as educators here, we want students to continue. Otherwise, by the time we the next year, we have attrition, which is again on our shoulders as higher leaders. And apart from that, we also found a need for tailor-made parental workshops. Now, I cannot have a group of parents just listening to one kind of a workshop, where we need to have early years team members having different workshop, where they'll understand about the stages, foundation stages of their children. Now, PYP would mean the primary years would need a different workshop. Secondary, they do not know the teenagers, their needs. Parents don't know that. So, tailor-made. And if you ask me, Ms. Lydia, are you doing everything? I'm saying, sorry, I'll take power from others, like we have the psychologists, we have experts, health educators who come in, and also our parents as part of, the learning process. They are expertise in certain things. They themselves, it's like each one teach one kind of, where we have inclusion of parents who are taking these sessions as well for another. Because if they have seen changes in their children, they are the voice of another parent as well.
Ms. Lydia, sorry to cut you,
yes,
because we are actually falling short of...
I will close. And to the student, I feel special assemblies, where we also included activities of assemblies, where we have circle time even for the higher schools. Habit journal is one thing that we have implemented, with parents identifying what are the habits being followed at home. Hobby clubs, well-being sessions, kindness room we have, where we have throughout the year children coming and contributing and sharing acts of kindness that they have done. Leadership camps, POSH and POXO sessions, which are continuously there. Internships, and of course recently career counseling that we have had. Every child needs to know what is their strength, and parents also need to be involved. Together, in the last point, I could say, sustainable goals for teachers, that attainable and sustainable, where processes and procedures, where as a school, if we can come together, what we can achieve in 1 year, not more, not less, but achievable. And no child left behind and no teacher left behind can be the concept. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lydia. So nowadays, there are a lot of questions arising that AI is hindering the critical thinking among students and teachers alike. So I would like to know your view on this, Mr. Preetham.
Friends, very important to understand AI. And when I comes from an early childhood background, let me give you a small understanding to my concept of technology earlier and today. Friends, we are dealing with children who are those who are 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5, 5, 5 and 6, right? It's all preschools. And before pandemic, right, and preschool talks about kindergarten, nursery school, playway method of education. And we wanted to keep the child away from any technology for that particular 2 hours of time, where he is really socializing, playing, mingling with other children, and the physical, mental well-being of the children is taking care of it. But with the time, how pandemic has given us something to understand. And when we are talking about, not only talking about a Zoom session or a chat bot or a AR and a VR kind of thing, when the buzzword is artificial intelligence, and trust me, the best of conferences across the globe, if something is happening in education, 99% of the discussion are being on AI, right? And let's talk about something. Come to a very small part of AI is chatbot, right? Have you seen the chatbot on your WhatsApp? There is a symbol on the top or the bottom right. What is that? How quickly they are trying to access, right? Give you an access to understand this. And now let us think about we as a teacher. Right? Our teacher were our artificial intelligence way back in 1970s and 80s. They were our Google, right? But we need to understand that before it goes to the child, are we all trained for that AI which we are talking about as a teacher? Now coming back to the classrooms or the schools, we are maybe some other way you are using some data, some filtration, some of personalized learning, right? With the help of some data only. AI is nothing but a data exactly. He is trying to solve your issues. He is managing some data at the back, and he is trying to give you a result as quickly as possible. It is another way of, faster way of computing, let's say. But now, are we really making the child understand what is AI is? A first grade child, as somebody has said in the previous, went to the internet, wrote the question on Google or a chatbot, and he got the answer within some 2 seconds, right? He is prepared for it. Are we prepared as an educator for that particular child, and why he should listen to me if we are not ready for that intelligence, right? But trust me, AI we need to understand as quickly as possible. If we are not understanding it, it will remain a sin data and cos data for you, which you have studied but you have never used it in your life. Trust me, friends. Understand it. This is not going to stop your critical thinking. Right? Go back and check with your own child at home. If a child feels that my homework is being done by the chat box, tell him that find out another way of learning, another question, put the same question again on the chat box, you will get another answer. Because he is so intelligent that you ask me this question now, right? I gave you an answer. He even knows that if I put the same question again, he will give you another answer. That is how you need to teach your child that he is so smart than you, and you have to overcome that smartness. For that, you need to go extra mile. If you want to beat that chat GPT, right, you need to understand more of it. So it is, you need to understand AI as a tool to support your thinking skills, not that it will overcome your thinking skills. Whatever the AI is giving you data, right, he's helping you to study well. It is your job to study the data well so that you can do the next level of higher order thinking skills. That is how we say, right? What is your next order of thinking skill? Am I ahead of you? Am I ahead of my own solution? I got a solution. Somebody gave a solution for a lake which they have converted to a very lakhs of people are working now. Now what is the challenge there? 2 lakhs of people coming into that place for a morning walk or evening walk. What is the next problem they may face, and what is the next solution? That should be done by me as a student if I am to go beyond that AI. And AI is ready for it. So AI will definitely support your education. AI will definitely give you a next level of thinking. AI will study your data into a very raw form, and you can definitely go to the next level of thinking. That is how I take AI. So please, friends, I'll give you a small example before I'll complete. Some time back, right, when this AI was not in a buzz, these travel companies and all, when you go and search for a hotel or a flight, right, once you search for a flight, they will give you a flight option in Delhi itself. Sorry, hotel option in Delhi itself. Once you go in a marriage wedding time, they will give you a shop also to shop for the wedding, this thing. It was irritating earlier, right? We used to say that they are tracking me. They want to know where Pritam was and where he wants to go, where he wants to stay and what he wants to buy. Trust me, friends, that is making your life easier. Right? You are not instructing them to search for a hotel and a shop to buy something. They are helping you right now. So take it as a positive side of it and think of that somebody is helping you to reach to that faster or easier or with an option kind of it, right? So let's adopt AI as soon as possible for us and for the educators. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, please.
You know, this just reminded me of something I learned yesterday, and we keep learning about it. So ChatGPT became a big rage last year and everyone was talking about it. And I've also done a lot of things with ChatGPT. I tried it extensively for a month, and not even a month, within 2 weeks I knew that, okay, I could read a piece and say this has come from ChatGPT. So my head of operations, I suddenly saw that he's writing fantastic mails, and I know him, I worked with him 10 years ago, and his entire team is writing fantastic mails. And I called him and I said, "Arey ChatGPT band karo bhai." So he's telling, you know what I've done, because all these guys are not great at English. So I have done a full session of ChatGPT on them because I've been using it for 2 months fantastically. And now everyone is writing great mails. And suddenly I said, yeah, that's great. But beyond that, yesterday what I learned is, since we have, especially those who are in the, we talk about academic honesty and integrity. So we do anti-plagiarism softwares, we pass it through. So what I learned was that if you write an article and you post it on ChatGPT once, that's it. Thereafter, when you're looking for any information and you want a new article to be written on another topic, the ChatGPT will imitate your style and produce something which looks just like you have written. So it is important to become familiar with what is happening. I got to know this just yesterday. This was new knowledge for me yesterday. And like you rightly said, it will keep happening, new things will keep coming up. It's just like the student lingo, I mean, the language that they use from YOLOs to whatnot, and now it's become even more complex. So you have to keep tracking it and trying and understand what are they trying to say now. So please keep at it, that's all.
Yes, please, you can
One
answer.
point to add to that, as Ma'am Deepika said, I think I recently seen teachers writing report remarks. I think that was a challenge for them to write remarks, and I was fantastically, but they were writing. But I said, the more authentic is your observation about the child. It's not how beautiful you write. So I think we also, when we check, we need to know whether they're using ChatGPT to write the comments. Also, we have to cross-check now. More challenge.
Ms. Veena, would you like to share what are the best practices you people follow in your school?
Thank you for the question. Good afternoon, everybody. So I totally believe that best practices in a school is possible when every stakeholder of yours is known about the best practice that you are going to start, including your teachers, students, and the parent community. And then comes the management, because it is the school leaders, task that what your vision is, what you want to start. So coming up with over almost 15 years now, there are a lot of innovations, a lot of new things coming up in education for the betterment. We have seen it during COVID time, how there's total innovation of technology being used in teaching learning process. Had it been not there, we would have been stuck. So taking it forward, I'm sure all the school leaders present here must be having some or the other best practices. But I would like to start it very simple, which is doable and which children love. Any new practice that you want to start should be liked by your children and should be feasible for your parents to incorporate. And then comes the teachers. However, teachers are, they are our team. We can guide them the way we want with their complete support. So to start with, anything new, we have started a very small practice of having our school as no bell school. The reason being, every child is tuned to being punctual. Every teacher is tuned to be punctual, a very simple one. Then it comes like how you want to take up the class activities in your own way. We share the topic to the students. We give them the options that these are the way you can take up these activities, how you want in peer or in group, and they take it forward. That's another simple way which children love to be engaged in the classroom, and the teacher becomes only the facilitator. I just don't want to be very specific about what we do. I'm just sharing that on a superficial and a bigger picture, what all we do. Children love to explore. Children love to learn from experiences. So off late, field trip, educational trips, every school organizes. Student exchange happens to be a very good program which we do. And we have recently collaborated with the Japanese foundation with the world, and we have taken online sessions with them with the cultural exchange program, and children really love it. We give different options to the kids to be a part of that kind of a interaction session where culture is exchanged, education system is exchanged, and thought process of the youth being shared over there. So these are a few things which we really admire doing, and I also feel that taking the senior students into consideration, especially the student council members, come join us and say, what do you want to implement next? What are your thought process? And believe me, children are far ahead of us. We all know that. So they will come up with things which you cannot even at times imagine that, okay, yes, this is doable. So taking the children along with you and then sharing those ideas, how to implement and when to implement with the support of your teachers is really, really remarkable, which has been, very successful in many of the schools. So these are a few things which we do, and sustainability happens to be the key factor now. We have done small initiatives in our school where all children, when the leftover water in their bottles is never be wasted. We have groomed them accordingly. We take them to the kitchen to see on weekly basis that how much of the waste is there in the cafeteria, how we are going to recycle it, and they get into the measurement of all those, and then they are the one who make the compost bin in the school. So these are a few initiatives which make children aware of how important it is to conserve the nature. and then comes the sustainability, power saving and all. We take them for the community, reach programs for awareness, etc., etc. So every leader can implement anything small, anything big, depending upon the culture and ecosystem of that particular school. This is what it is all from my end. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Veena. So I think we are falling short of time, so I've got an indication that I need to close. So, but before we conclude, I just wanted to share that recently I came across an article where there was an robotic instructor introduced in a classroom, and the robot was just moving around interacting with the children. So quickly, can you just share your views on that, whatever I've shared, 1 or 2 lines, and then we can close it. What do you feel like, human teacher and the robotic?
I would say that there's no harm in it, because if you're going to use it as an assistant to yourself, it's fine. You see, the human element of compassion, empathy, the values, the emotions, the reading of the emotions, the exchange between two people as teacher and student, the connect that you have can never be replaced, definitely. But at the same time, there are a lot of mundane tasks, which obviously an assistive tool, even if it's a bot in the classroom, there's a lot of mundane tasks that the teachers have to do. And they take away a lot of time and energy of the teacher. I would say that using a bot as an assistant is a great way to free up the teachers for more innovative and organic thinking projects, and make it so that they become more accessible to the student rather than this. Of course, it also means that the teachers have to push themselves into becoming researchers back again. Most teachers have just kind of done their own studies and they feel, now I know it. But it will push them into the domain of being a lifelong learner. But that's what the classrooms today need to be. It's got to be about lifelong learning. It cannot be that I've done it all. Even after I've been teaching for years and years, I still feel, I can tell you honestly, we have option topics, and in maths, I don't really want to teach ever discrete mathematics. I'm very scared of it. I just don't want to, because I did my engineering. I didn't do pure mathematics at BSc level. So when I did my master's in mathematics, I chose to stay away from that topic, and I don't enjoy teaching discrete mathematics at all. So herein is my trick. If I have a bot, and if I get that programming right, I can use the bot for teaching discrete, what I cannot teach.
My intention of the same situation will be, if he has already replaced me, let me go back to the student side of it and enjoy him.
So I think I do agree, technology has to be a support, not to take over us. So I think I just, while I was thinking, I remembered one of my managing directors, Mr. Raj at Yadagadla, spoke to us once, I think in 2018. He said, follow a LAF program, LAF. It is love your children, appreciate, and be firm but have fun. So I think that was one thing that clicked my mind, and I say no one can replace a teacher because emotions matter. Today a touch and say you can do it, a robot to a person has a big difference. So we are social beings and we are human beings. So I think something that connects with emotions matters a lot, and of course support accuracy, I would definitely go for technology.
On the last note, technology, chatbot are basically a boon for us. How we use it, make your teachers efficient to use it, and if they are not able to, please guide them. At the same time, everybody, as Ms. Rao has said, that we need to be lifelong learners. If you're not, then we cannot survive and we cannot sustain. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So it was really amazing, listening to all your inputs. Thank you, panelists, and thank you, everyone. Thank you, IndiGlobal, for setting up this wonderful platform. Thank you.
Thank you, panelists, for such an intriguing discussion on how new age innovation can better make our lives. Thank you so much. So, to give away the memento, I would like to call upon Dr. Indira Jaikumar, Medical Director, Apollo Shine Foundation. May I please request Ms. Deepika Rao, Principal, Oak Ridge International School, Gachibowli, to please come forward to accept this token of appreciation. I would now like to call upon Ms. Lydia Christina, Principal, Canary the School. Director, VIP International School. Can I request the audience to please clap louder? We've just had lunch and came. I'm hoping we are much energetic now. And then I would like to call upon Shri Preetham Agarwal, founder and CEO, Hello Kids of chain of preschools and Riverstone schools. And then I would like to call on our wonderful moderator for moderating the session so beautifully, Miss Charulekha, soft skill trainer, educator and choreographer. And then to please come on to the dais to give away this award. I would request Indra ma'am to please stay on to the stage to give away this award. This award is being given to Shri Preetham Agarwal, founder and CEO, Hello Kids of chain of preschool and Riverstone schools.
Media Network, taking innovation, collaboration, and growth to the forefront.